All right, gathering on the infield for a brief meeting. All riders gathering on the infield, masks on.
But you don't really have to gather, so we're good.
There you go. Stay away.
Slow fade. That's okay. Well, welcome, everybody. It is so nice to see so many of you. This is fantastic. Once again, tell your friends. We're going to hopefully get some big fields. Next week is kickoff. Sign up. There's lots of stuff going on. Few reminders for everybody. It seems like everyone's doing a fairly good job, but masks stay on. I know the guidelines have been updated, but the county has not caught up yet, so we're doing what we can. When we start, you're starting in the F1 style grids over in the warm-up circle. The officials will tell you to take your mask off. Keep it on your body somewhere. Once the race is finished, you're going to stop on the back straight. If you can do that on the first lap, awesome. If not, take a second lap, stop on the apron, put your mask back on, and then get back in the warm-up circle. The idea is that once the group in front of you rolls out, you guys can roll into the warm-up circle. That way we're trying to keep the groups a bit separate. Trying to think what else we had. Yes, Haldy? We are prepared to take an extra lap in the missing out if you are not together. Ideally, be together. The missing outs, I'll let Phil talk about those, but we will tell you the details on those. This is missing outs for the Cap 4s. Be safe, right, as a general reminder. It is not worth putting your wheel somewhere where it doesn't belong to try not to get 14th place, okay? So just be safe out there. Other stuff, next week we have our auction starting. So if you have not checked that out, go to the website. It's all over the place. I'll remind you on the kickoff, it's in conjunction with the kickoff. We'll be promoting it quite a bit. There's some really, really cool stuff, so make sure you check that out, including reserved roller spaces. So that way, if you're really late, you can just have a space just for you, which is, I think I will bid on that. But like I said, check that out. If you haven't registered for the kickoff, do that. And June and July races are open for registration as well, so make sure you get on that. Andy, anything?
So do you want to go to the missing out exiting? Missing out exiting is going to be the only thing that works like normal. If we don't have weird, so we want you to get off when you're called and go to the back of the warm-up circle. At that time, when you stop, put your mask on and then come back just like normal. But we're not taking a victory lap after you get pulled. That's just the point of clarification, even if it may feel like it.
Good evening, everyone. It's always so nice to hear Amara's sweet, kind voice, because that means I don't have to use that, as you know. Racing tonight's really straightforward. Points races, missing outs and eliminations, and then scratch to finish up with the crawl after the points races. Points, Cat 4, 4x3, 12 laps. Cat 3, 15 laps, 5x3. Women, 4x3, 12 laps. And 1s and 2s, 20 laps, 5x4. Then the crawl, we talked about how that's going to start over here. Again, we're going to start from the circle and just come straight onto the track on the whistle. Only thing I'm asking is move directly to the track. We don't do our track stands here on the apron, okay? We'll talk to you if there's a problem. On the missing outs, the two large groups, the 4s and the 1s and 2s, we'll be riding a missing out down to 3 in the traditional form. We get down to 3 riders, open lap, then the bell. On the 3s and the women, we're riding an elimination, just going straight down to the last rider. And then we're finishing up with scratch races with preems. Easy enough. The only things, and this was something I was going to say last week, and then I realized I wasn't assigned. Keep our heads up, folks. Again, we've been out here, we've been away from here for a while. First week I was out here, I saw a couple of little bad habits that maybe we want to just be mindful of. One was looking straight down at the bars and not in front of you. When that happens, you become a victim really fast because something will happen and you'll not see it. The other habit that a couple of people were getting into was overlapping, which is another way to become a victim, and also underlapping the wheels, going underneath the wheel in front of you. And when that happens, you have no place to go. And so I want you to focus on those 3 things. Again, with the computers, either take them off or tape them so you can't read them. And with that, we're ready to fly. Yeah, questions? Correct. Yep, that's, we were just going over that ourselves. It's the old English way. Any other questions? Over there, yonder. Fortunately, we have a really experienced starter tonight, so we won't let. There's only one person I'd let hang off the back. Okay. With that, everybody, let's have a good night of racing. Keep it safe, and category 4 is please.
Cap 4 is to staging. Cap 4 is to staging.
Do you want to do an open? All right, everybody, welcome to Friday Night Racing here at the track. The first category now currently over in the staging area, and we're about ready to get started. If you're online checking out our racing action today, thank you for tuning in for this live stream. We are streaming currently on Facebook and on YouTube. We welcome you here to the track where we'll be racing. We've got 4 categories racing 3 different races tonight, and you saw the schedule if you were tuning in a little bit earlier as we were about ready to get started. And I'm going to get back to our officials to be our starters for our first group tonight.
All right, Cat 4 men, you are doing a 12-lap, 4x3 points race. It's going to be 4 sprints, 1 every 3 laps. Going to roll you neutral out. If you're all together in corner 4, I will start you with a whistle. Okay, go ahead and roll out.
Yeah, that's all right. You can put your hands together, folks. That's a good thing to do. They are in the neutral, so the racing hasn't begun yet, so we're not going to see a whole lot of speed as we're getting ready, but our first races are points races. So riders will be competing over several different sprints to gain points, and we'll add those up. Their totals at the end of the race will determine the winner, not necessarily the first rider across the line at the end, but the rider with the most points will be victorious. Those points are determined on special sprints laps. So you're going to hear a bell ring from our finish line area. That'll let you know that the next lap will be worth points to the leaders. The first rider across the line will get 5 points for that sprint, 3 to the second rider, 2 to the third, and 1 to the fourth. The final sprint in the race at the 1 to go mark will actually be worth double, 10, 6, 4, and 2. So lots of good stuff going on here in the points race to keep track of. I will try my best to keep you updated on the unofficial standings as we go through the race. And racing is underway. We got 12 laps to go. The first sprint for points in this event. I'm going to double check my schedule to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. We have a 4x3, 4 sprints every 3 laps. So the first sprint then, if we're going to be sprinting every 3 laps, this is kind of like the non-action lap, then there'll be a bell, and then there'll be points. So it's going to be pretty fast action. Not a lot of rest in between these sprints. Oftentimes the points race is a little bit more of an endurance favored event, but this is going to go by real quick. Lots of sprinting, quick recovery, and then back to it. Seeing 11 to go. Next time around, the very first bell at 10 laps to go. Then we'll get those first sprints going. You can see the field riding wide right now. Lots of riders showing up in our Category 4 men competitors field. And now we start to see some riders realizing it's probably smart to get out in front. Don't want to be anywhere in the middle of this field as things are going to get pretty hectic as the speed's starting to increase. Riders kind of feeling out this early season, still figuring out where to be. Certainly our largest field on the track yet in our early months of racing. There's that bell. Points next lap. Points next lap. Bib number 408 is wearing the dark green of Fount Cycling. That's Colin Stats. Sits in the front position as he leads the lap currently. But that's a hard place to win a sprint from as he's got some riders on his wheel, and that's going to be a very advantageous place to be if they can find the position to move. So now you can see that move coming over the top as the higher part of the track is really where the sprint's going to come from. Coming through turns 3 and 4 now, coming out into the straight. It looks like we've got a junior starting to maybe move towards the front, if I'm not mistaken by the colors on the jersey. A couple of them trying to go side by side here, and that's going to be rider 409 coming across the line first for the big points. Looks like Jonathan Levy going to be the unofficial winner of the 5 in that sprint. And John now just on a tear here, bib 409. He's our race leader in points, and he's off the front. If he can do a couple more of these, he'll have a lot of points to his name. The rest of the field now in the chase as they're looking to kind of keep this leader in check. At the moment, the pace not matching, so it looks like our race leader are going to be able to get some distance here as the field's still kind of swarming over on the back straight with our current race leader in points and the position on the track now coming onto the home straight. On pace for 5 more as John Levy continues to roll with it. Right in the Velobody kit. And the bell's ringing for the field as well. The lead of the lap will be 3 out of the field at this point. 3 to the leader out of this field. So again, our race leader picking up more. Levy was now going to be sitting at a total of 10 unofficially. At 6 to go, halfway through this race, and looks like it's going to be Ben Jurassic picking up 3 in that one, and I'm going to give, I believe, 2 to Spranger. 2 of our younger riders in the field competing. Juniors out here. So our under 18, or 18 and under competitors, I should say. Looking good coming through the home straight is our race leader, still just chugging away at this thing with 5 to go. Just putting in a solo effort here. The hardest thing you can do on a bike is not take a break. He doesn't get to sit in the field at all. Nobody to give him the draft. He's just got to do the work on his own. So he's kind of getting in his zone. But you know what's easier than maybe sprinting against his field, right? Get out away from them. Just get out in front. Don't let it be a race like that. There's a bell. It's another sprint at 4 to go. John's just on pace here. He's got about an almost 200-meter lead now on the rest of this field, halfway around this track, a 400-meter track here. So big distance for the field to catch at this point. 3 points to the field on the next lap. The leader out of the field will get 3 at this pace. And the sprint out of the field, we're really watching here. It's 5 more points to our current race leader, and a sprint for the 3. It looks like Flom versus Spranger. Spranger will pick up the 3, Flom for 2. And I believe another junior picking up a point on that one was Malakoff for 1. Spranger currently now sitting in second place overall with 8 after that last sprint. That's rider 494 for the Jerry Baker Juniors team. Sitting in third unofficially is Benjamin Flom with 4 points. After that, I've got 3 to Ben Jurassic, 1 to Blaine Peterson, Itai Malakoff, and Mike Ritter. Our current race leader, John Levity, has 15 unofficially. Those numbers are confirmed by our official squad, so it sounds like those will be as close to official as we can get. The last sprint's worth double, so this race isn't over yet, especially the race for second. It's really going to be interesting. So in the main field, our current race leader is, I'm trying to find where he's hidden himself. He's in there somewhere. There he is. He's near the front actually currently, so he's actually doing a bit of a pull on the field. He's trying to be contending for a 6-point sprint upcoming. Here's John, our eventual race leader, coming around. We'll give him...
Cat 3's to staging. Cat 3's to staging.
And the bell now for the sprint out of the field. 6 points to the field at this point. Another one of the junior team is Parker Stanford is leading the sprint currently. It'll be interesting to see who comes out of this one and can pull out a victory for second, third, and fourth, because this will be a victory at this point. The race is already raced away from them. They're not racing for first. It's who's going to pick up the second and third place here. Here comes our race winner as John's just put an impressive solo athletic effort here. Nice job to him. And the Velo Body squad picking up a win here in the Cat 4s. And coming out of the turn, it looks like Liquid Velo wants to pick up the big 6. Can he find it? It looks like Zach's on a tear. 6 for Zach Jurassic there on the inside. That's going to be enough points to move him up into top 5 positions right away. I think that might have been Mike Ritter for the 4. And I think Ben might have picked up the 2 on that last sprint. So nice work there as our competitors going all around the track about 12 times through a great points race. They're going to be getting off the track here in just a moment as our Cat 3 competitors are now supposed to be in staging. I'll do a better job as I'm getting settled in here. At 3 to go or so, if you can be prepared to stage for the next race, that'll help everything stay on target for our timings here.
All right, Cat 3 men, you are going to be doing a 5x3 points race. I'm going to roll you neutral from the start grid here. You're all together in corner 4. I will start you with a whistle. Again, 5x3 points race, 5 sprints, 1 every 3 laps. Go ahead and take your mask off now.
Currently on track is the Category 3 riders for their 15-lap points race. So you heard the way this works just a moment ago. The same rules apply. This is a 5x3. That's 5 sprints every 3 laps. So it's still going to be fast and furious in the sprints. But now there's going to be 5 of them. So 1 more sprint before this thing's over for our Category 3 competitors. Coming up next will be our women's field for their points race. The next field up, our women competitors. And the whistle signifies the race is beginning. We'll get a bell in a couple laps from here for our first sprint. Seeing 14 to go. Next time around, our first bell for the Cat 3 competitors. And our first sprint, 4 points on the lap. Henry Kaiser out of the saddle and driving the pace. If you're looking at this field and trying to figure out what do these different categories mean, it just has to do with the amount of experience and speed our riders have. They can earn their way up by winning races, basically. They get upgrade points and move their way up. So in theory, faster and longer distances as you work your way up the categories is kind of the general gist. That's to keep things competitive. So in this Cat 3 field, Kaiser looking fast for the first 5 and a nice sprint for 3. As it looks like Wilson's in that dark green will be the one to pick it up. I think Jurassic, the third across the line for 2. And I believe that was Snoblin in the all-white kit coming in for the 1 point. So a little harder to hide in a smaller field like this. Everybody's got their eyes on each other. We know who the early race leader is, and that is Henry Kaiser. You can look for that bright orange helmet from across the track to know where he's at. He's currently going to sit into the field a little bit and maybe catch his breath for the next sprint, which is going to come up real quick. It's going to be right around the corner, quite literally, as we're going to be hearing a bell momentarily. In second with third, I have Chris Wilson in the green of Fount Cycling. Third place right now is for Liquid Velo Team, the black and green jersey. Isaac Jurassic, he's got bib 301 on. And bib 303, Peter Snoblin in the all-white, has got 1, good for 4th right now. Starting to roll it, they know the bell's coming. That's Z-Dog off the front, trying to make something happen for Fell Swoop. Swooping in hot as the bell's ringing. Z knows that if he can get up to speed before the sprint starts, that might be his best play here. So he's trying to get it going on the home straight, but the field's starting to react here. Look at the speed of the junior, too. Look out for Isaac Jurassic turning up another gear in the middle of this field. He's just going to fly up to the front now, as it's Snoblin formerly, now Jurassic, and Wilson taking a good move here as well. As Wilson trying to pick up the 5, Wilson for 5. In the dark green, Jurassic will find 3 still. Snoblin holds on for 2, and I believe Kaiser was there for the 1. And the bell's ringing for more points. Next time around, leaders will get points once again, as we're now sitting at 7 to go. Unofficially, I got Chris Wilson as our leader with 8. The rider in the dark green from Fount Cycling trailed closely with 6 points to Kaiser and 5 with Jurassic sitting in 3rd and 2nd. I also have Snoblin with 3. Those are unofficial standings. Bit of a snap here in the group as we got 4 off the front and 4 in the chase. I think we'll call the field. The group now coming out of the turn are leaders, and 4 riders coming up for the points. All of them are going to find some points here, but it's a tough sprint. Kaiser will find the 5. Jurassic for 3. Snoblin 2. Wilson 1. Unofficially. So here is a really good tactic is he knows that his competitors just sprinted harder than he did. He still has oxygen in the tank, so they're all in recovery mode. They just got to the top of the big hill. They want to get breath back in their system, let the oxygen flow. Nah, that's not the time to rest. That's exactly when Chris Wilson makes the move, and the attack here puts on some pressure. Snoblin is trying to respond, the rider in white. These are all our current race leaders as the four of them continue to battle at the front of this race for points. I'll update you shortly. Unofficially, I have Kaiser in the lead with 11. Here comes our second place currently with 9 is Wilson getting the bell. After him, I've got 8 points for Jurassic and 5 for Snoblin. Those points do match our official record. So here comes our second to last sprint. The next one's the double. This one's still another one of those regular ones here. And we got on the back straight the leaders in position and in points. On the home straight, our chasing group of 3. Found Cycling just keeping the pressure on those pedals, just pushing the whole thing around the track. No help here, no brakes for him. 5 more for Chris Wilson and a sprint for the 3. That's a bit too close for me to call officially. The eye test for me was on the inside at first, but I'll have to confirm. So we'll still wait on the confirmation on the 3 or 2 points here in just a moment as we're getting close to the end of this race. It was Jurassic picking up the 3 there. So Isaac, you got 3 in that. You've got 12 after that sprint. Snoblin comes out with the 2, making his total 7 points unofficially. Chris Wilson up to a total of 14 after the previous 5 is now the race leader. Women need to be in staging if they're not already so. It looks like most of them are there. Thank you. Final lap. Here we go. It's Henry Kaiser, one of the juniors, leading the way. Hard place to be, and he's looking like he may not be able to hold on to this second punch of Wilson, who's trying to put this one to bed. If he can get these 10, he will be our race winner, but it isn't over yet. Coming through the turns, will Wilson be able to stay on the front of this race? An impressive ride by him, and he's basically been off the front of this thing, and he's still got legs left for sprinting, and it will be enough for Chris Wilson as it looks like he's got a couple bike lengths still for 10 more. That'll be good for the win. For our rider in dark green, 306, Chris Wilson picking that one up in an impressive ride. Well done for our Category 3 competitors as they will be making their way off on this lap. Coming up in a moment, our women competitors for their points race. On deck is the Cat 1-2 men. Going the wrong direction there for a moment. For their points race. At 3 to go or so, you'll want to be staging. So I'll try to do my best to remind you as well. Again, up next, Category 1-2s for their points race. We will have the novelty Marymore Crawl in between our first and second groups of races. So we'll have the Marymore Crawl coming up after that Category 1-2 race is concluded. And then we get to go in to the missing out. And our competitors taking the track are in the neutral. We'll get them started out turn 4 in the next time around for their points race. Hey, enjoying yourself here tonight? We appreciate you being here in person or online watching the action. You can follow all the things going on at the Velodrome and get all the information about what we're doing. Find the race book, the full calendar, everything about our education programs. Learn more about maybe learning to race, coming out here and being part of what we're doing, volunteering, and learning more about our great programs. You can do that all at velodrome.org. That's right, velodrome.org. On the interwebs, we got a pretty good domain. You can head there, learn more about our programs, and maybe even sign up for a class. We got adult classes, we got junior classes. We have plenty of opportunities to get involved and plugged in with what we're doing here at the Velodrome. You can also follow us on our socials at JB Velodrome. Check us out on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook and, of course, our YouTube channel where we're currently streaming live, and you can check out the action. Share this with your friends and family. Let them know that Friday Night Racing is streaming live, so friends and family from anywhere can tune into Redmond and check out the great racing going on here in Marymore Park. And that whistle is the signal for racing to get underway. This one says 12 to go, as this is going to be another 4x3. You'll recall that's the distance we started off with. So you will have 4 sprints every 3 laps. Another one of these pretty rapid pace points races. They come at you quick. Racers, next week, don't forget, we have our kickoff event. If you made it out today, you're going to want to make it out for the kickoff. 1 week from today, we're doing racing both Friday and Saturday. Registration is wide open on the website. You can head there even tonight if you wanted to and get yourself signed up for racing for next Friday and Saturday. You can register separately for the 2 nights if you can only make it to 1. Plus, there's Saturday morning time trials going on. We've got a couple of time trials planned for this season that you can register, but one of them is during the kickoff. So head to velodrome.org to the Race Reg portal, and you can go ahead and get signed up for that as well, as all of June and July now open. So if you want to check out those races and start planning where you are going to plan to attend, you can pre-register for those if you'd like early. All online at velodrome.org. Pre-registration still currently required for you to participate in our event, so please make sure to take care of that. Registration will close 24 hours before an event begins. And that bell signals our first sprint for the women competitors at 10 to go. Leah Holslander is the junior competitor that has made the first jump to the front of the field. She knows what the bell means. It means time to speed up. So she'll pick up the pace down the back straight, coming under the Stanley sign, one of our fantastic sponsors here at the Velodrome over in turn 3. And coming out of the turn, it looks like it's going to be a mix-up of who's at the front. Is Danny Scoville coming out of the field for 5. I got bib 204 for 3. Edwards getting the 2 points. And I think that was going to be Emily Alexander getting the 1. So our race leaders, I got to go into Danny currently, Scoville, the Jerry Baker Jr.'s team. In second place and riding in the green of Found Cycling, Alicia Stotts, I'll have to check on that one. 2 points for Mar Edwards in third, and I have 1 point for Emily Alexander. She's riding in the black and green. I get the thumbs up saying that is as close to official as I can get. That's right, we do have officials here. This is officially sanctioned racing, so my calls are just made up. I'm just here to entertain and educate as best as I can. Those riding, the team out here in blue is our official squad. They come out here and make sure that our riders are riding safe, following the rules, and of course they put the stamp of approval that this indeed did happen and can be recorded through USA Cycling and all the other great organizations we work through. Coming out of the turn gets the bell for 7 to go on our next sprint. As it looks like we got one junior and our adults kind of competing here at the front, and we've got our junior fields that'll be sprinting against each other as well. So a bit of a break in our field. Going into the Broadmark Realty Capital sign in turn 1 is the front of the field right now, the front of our race, I should say. And Edwards currently at the lead of that one, wearing the Greg's Trek blue and green, up and out of the saddle, leading the lap currently. And on her side is a junior. It's Danny trying to challenge. And yes, the fun inside story here is that's coach versus junior team member. Danny putting a great effort here for another 5. Edwards will pick up the 3. Stotts for 2. And Alexander for 1. That gives it a tie for second place currently between Edwards and Stotts. They both have 5. Our leader, Scoville, with 10. Emily Alexander has 2 points. That's good for 4th. Seeing 5 to go. Next time around, another bell. That'll be our second to last sprint. We'll see where we are with the points. Currently, our race leader is the rider in the black with some blue at the front of the field, that blue helmet. She's riding now second wheel. She might kind of slot down behind Emily in the black and green. Just now checking the YouTube chat out there. John, if you're still watching, hi back to you. Your brother says not to acknowledge you, but I'm going to do it anyways. Thanks for tuning in. That bell is for another sprint as our field coming under the Greg Cycles sign in turn 2 now. We'll be sprinting for 5, 3, 2, and 1. One of the riders with points but not currently lead is the rider in the black and green coming out of the saddle. She's got that yellow frame. That's Emily Alexander. Coming up for her first week back yet this season and trying to put a show out the front as she's been not coming off the front just yet. So now's her time. 5 points for Emily. If she can keep on pace, it'll be 3 for Stotts and 2 for Edwards and 1 for Scoville, I believe. Category 1, 2 competitors. It is time for staging at 3 to go. Staging, it is time, if you're not already over there, to make your way over to the staging area so we can get you set for the next race. Our race leader, still Scoville, unofficially has 11. I have one rider with 8 is Edwards, and then 2 riders with 7 is Stotts and Alexander in a tie for 3rd. At our current unofficial standings, it's still our junior with the most points, and she's currently the 2nd rider in this group. The next sprint is the big one, though. Here comes the double points as they're coming out of the turn. This will be our 1 to go, and 10, 6, 4, and 2 on the next lap. 1 to go. 1 to go. Emily Alexander on the front with the black and green. Picked up the big 5 last time. Can she find some more in this last sprint? Scoville set on the back of the field, looking a little fresher maybe in this last sprint. We'll have to wait and see. Edwards also close in on the points. Nobody's really too far apart here in this one. So we're going to see how this last sprint will play out very importantly. Some of our younger riders going up high on the track, making room for the sprint underneath them. Well done. They know the action's coming underneath them. The fast part of the track down there in the sprinter's lane, it's going to be Edwards and Scoville as Edwards making the last push out of the turn. Edwards and Stotts will be Edwards 10, Stotts 6, Scoville 4. And Emily Alexander will pick up the 2 on the final sprint. I believe that'll give it to Edwards in the points totals unofficially by a small margin. A nice race for our women competitors. Well done. All right, we're just about ready to get our next field started. I'm going to take just a moment off the microphone. We'll let our officials get this next group on the track, and then we'll be talking about this last of these 4 points races. Our Cat 1-2 men coming up here in just a moment.
All right, gentlemen, you are going to be doing a 5 points race, 5 sprints, 1 every 4 laps. Going to roll you neutral from the start grid, start you with the whistle in as long as you're all together. Remember, at the end of your race, you want to exit on the backside as quickly as possible and then put your mask back on. For those of you who still have masks on, you can go ahead and remove them now.
And the field now taking the track is Category 1-2 men competitors for a 20-lap version of this points race. Make that a 5x4. So still 5 sprints, much like the Cat 3 men had, but this time we got 4 laps in between each for a total of 20. Same rules as all these other fields, same way the points work and all that fun stuff. We will see how the Category 1-2 men decide to ride this points race, as it's a little longer and a big field here, so a good sized number of competitors. We'll have some fun with this one. A points race about to start out of turn 4 as long as we're all together. On deck will be the Marymore Crawl Open. Marymore Crawl to all competitors that want to participate. That is coming up next. And the whistle signals the start of the race. We got 20 to go. Andy Baker, bib number 4, takes the first lap as our field is going to slot themselves in behind him where they can. The faster the lap, the more important it is to find a spot in the field. So you can already see some riders trying to kind of vie for some position, find a wheel to be on, and join in on the speed. $19 to go. Rolling around nicely here. Again, this is a points race, so we're going to have to kind of keep our heads on those the math of the race kind of at all times. It's this perfect combination of you have to pay attention as a rider and you have to be calculating exactly how much effort you need to win while still having to sprint and just work really hard. This race does demand a lot of our athletes to have to be constantly sprinting, recovering, and thinking throughout the entire event. 18 to go. Our field cruising nicely here. You can tell they're at a good speed when you can see how they're pretty long. So you see how the field is almost half that length of that back straight, almost the full length really if you look at them. That stretched out formation is really showing their speed from here. We can see the speed at the front as riders are pushing the pace when they get to the lead. They're not sitting still. They're really trying to drive this thing. When you have a lot of sprinters and a lot of racers here today, you got to move fast. The first point's coming out next lap. Let's see who our early leaders are in this competitive field. Couple riders for the Broadmark Realty team in the white and blue with some yellow coming through the turn. As it's going to be Andy Baker, the first name I called, coming out of the turn first. He's got Martinez, one of his teammates, at his side. And looks like Fount Cycling come out for the first 5. Baker picking up the 3. I think another Fount Cyclist got the 2. Martinez unofficially finding 1. We'll get confirmation on that shortly, but I believe that was Russell, number 6, Brandon Russell, our first rider across the line, is currently our race leader. You can find him in the dark green of Fount Cycling near the front of this field, still trying to drive the pace. I had after them, I believe, was Andy Baker for 3 in second. Bib number 18 is Nicholas Martinez for Broadmark Realty with 2 points. And then I have bib 26, Mario Sandoval, in 4th. Correction is that 26 picked up the 2 and 18 got the 1, so it'll be Martinez in 4th with 1 point currently. This is fantastic. Our new registration system gives me a bit of a better handle on getting nicknames, so I'll have to put someone to play tonight because I have some. With 13 to go, our race leader currently is bib 6. It's Brando. Brando the Mando getting the first big sprint for Fount Cycling. He's in the middle of the field, though, so he's a ways back on this next one. When you got a big field like this and the speed is going this fast, it's really hard to recover between sprints. So what do you got to do? You got to find some space in the field and just kind of sit in on it. And then maybe the next sprint, you'll be able to go back up there. That's why you don't rest in between, as the riders that didn't get points need to keep the pace going. 12 to go. It's going to be bib 26. That's Super Mario Sandoval finding the 5 in that sprint. I think it's Nolan Adams got the 3 unofficially, and I'll wait on the confirmation for the 2 and the 1 on that sprint. So it was Steven Wilson's finding the 2 in the previous sprint, and then Andrew Carlberg found 1. Our current race leader is Profound Cycling Super Mario Sandoval with 7 points. Brando for also Profound Cycling with 5 is sitting in second. I got 30 points to both Baker and Adams, currently tied for third. After that, it's 2 to Steven Wilson's, 1 to Nick Martinez, and 1 to Andrew Carlberg. That is confirmed as official as our current standings. And we got to move off the front here. Is it some riders maybe kind of sitting in it a little bit? Is it's going to be Matty Hers in that dark kit where he's got some of those green accents you can see from across the track. Taking a big leap here out in front of the field, and not a lot of response on his initial move is going to set him up beautifully for 5. I think it's Andrew Martin is the rider in the baby blue in second wheel position, chasing now and kind of encouraging the field to stay with him as he's kind of bridging that gap. Matt Hers here. Matty Hers on the move at 9 to go. No points yet, but he'll certainly have some after this. Oh, hello. That's number 5, Christian Miller. Welcome back to the track, as he's the rider for 10-Speed Hero in that baby blue, was chasing down, but now gets caught by the rest of this chasing field as they pursue him down and overtake him on the back straight. It's going to be Baker, who's locked and loaded and leading the way towards Matty Hers. Oh, this pace looks dangerous, though. Matt Hers coming out of the turn. He's still on pace for the 5. It was a little too early to call, but he looks like he's on path for 5 as the sprint's on for 3. Baker. Ooh, Found Cycling trying to find some room there. Baker for 3. I don't know which one of our green riders got the 2, as it was a battle back and forth. It will be Brandon Russell picking up the 2. Lots of riders with points. Our race leader, still, I believe, unofficially, of course, is Mario Sandoval. Super Mario with 8 points in the lead. That's bib number 26 in the dark green. His teammate is out there competing against him. He's got 7 points. That's going to be Brandon Russell. In third place, I got 6 points to Andy Baker. And in fourth is 5 to Matty Hers. After that, I've got 3 points to Nolan Adams, 2 points to Steven Wilson's, 1 to Mick Martinez, and 1 to Andrew Carlberg. Six to go. Couple sprints remaining here. Our current race leaders, both the top positions are the dark greens in the field. It's bib 26, currently by 1 point over his teammate. And yes, they are teammates in practice and in preparation, but out here they are competing head-to-head. There's no reason that they won't be doing so, as this is not really a team sport out here on the track. Everybody's riding for themselves. Coming out of turn 3, the field says time to take a breather. And that's a great time to go make a solo move at 5 to go. 5 to go. John Butler, the rider out in front. I'm going to have to ask him the story behind the nickname of the Chicken Express, but apparently that's what we're going to have to call him tonight. So out in front, he's now started the Chicken Express, is on the move, and he's getting himself a little bit of room here. I don't think he can start the dance just yet, though, as he still has to work pretty hard to get away from this field. Checking it out at 4 to go. Picking up the 5 is Butler. Steven Wilson's finding the 3 in that sprint. I got Baker picking up the 2, and I believe that was bib number 9, Mike Robson, finding the 1 unofficially in that last one. Oh, getting interesting here, folks. We got 1 sprint left, and we have a tie at the top of the race. So at the front of the race right now is the Express, the chicken himself, still leading the way, bib 24. He is not the points leader, though. He's only at the front of the field. The points leaders are both of our Fount Cycling riders tied. Andy Baker, not the Fount Cyclist team. Andy Baker and Mario Sandoval tied at 8 apiece. They are currently our race leaders. In third place is Brandon Russell with 7. After that, I got 5 points to both Matty Hers and Stephen Wilson's, as well as 3 points still to Nolan Adams, 1 to Martinez, 1 to Robson, and 1 to Karlberg. Final sprint upcoming here we're about a half lap out from that bell at the 1 to go mark, and still the Express is rolling here. He's not far away from this field, though. I worry for a rider off the front that doesn't have more than about a 50, 75 meter gap coming into this. This is going to be close. 1 to go. Butler holding on for one more effort, but boy, here comes the chain down the home straight. Boom comes the big explosion out of Karlberg and Baker, and now Nolan Adams also joining in the front of this one. I see Christian Miller in there as well, and one of our Fount Cyclist team riders. I believe that's Russell trying to get in a position for a big last sprint. Karlberg giving up a little bit here through the turn. He didn't have quite enough to get away from this, but Baker still has more. Baker, Adams, Miller holds on. That's going to be Russell finding 2 points. Baker had enough coming into that with the 10 points to go from a tie in the lead to win it at all. It'll be our Pied Broadmark Realty team competitor Andy Baker, our unofficial winner after the big 10 points on that final sprint for our rider in the white and blue. Whew. Okay, last week was a bit confusing. So the Marymore Crawl, we are queuing up somewhere, but it'll be happening here in a moment. Great, on the warm-up circle. Fantastic. Thank you for clarifying. If you are going to be in the crawl, we'll send you to the warm-up circle. Well done, Cat 1-2. So going to take a moment away from the microphone here, and we'll be back with racing in just a moment. We got the crawl coming around the corner. Last call, I believe, here for the Marymore Crawl. And the sound of the whistle is the beginning of the race, but they aren't going too fast. That's because this is our novelty race, the slowest race in all of track racing, the slowest lap you'll ever watch on a velodrome. The Marymore Crawl was invented right here in the park at our very velodrome a number of years ago and has been copied many times. It is the original soul lap The idea here, our riders have an unknown amount of time to them where they cannot cross the finish line. Before that time, they are required to keep upright on the bikes under their own power. So they're going to have to be balancing using the fixed gear that you see here. So some track stands going on, as we call it. They can't lean on anybody. They can't put a foot down. They can't go off of the track racing surface, and they can't go backwards really either. So you'll see a little bit of forward and backwards shift as they do those track stands, but no backwards riding allowed. If they can stay in after all those things are true, if they keep the bike up, the bell will ring at some point, and whoever survived gets to race for a one-lap sprint. That's the crawl in a nutshell. So we'll see who can survive here for the fun one-lapper. This novelty race is always a good time, and you can always guarantee that a lot of juniors will take pride in showing up in this because they're wearing the colors of the velodrome. So you got to race the velodrome's race, and you got to do it. You got to know how to do it. Oh, Mr. Pile up here at the front. Oh, sorry, he's out in the audience. JC's looking right at me like, don't point me out. I'm trying here, man. Oh, he does like the attention. Okay, good. Confirmed. Why not? You're right at the front. A couple more juniors kind of swarming around him as well as we're waiting for the sound of the bell. Getting a little bit of a reminder about the rules. Is it too much hopping around? It's got to keep the bike pretty still or moving forward. Waterman for Dyna Racing coming into that finish line. Does he have the room? No. Oh, hoping for that bell. Just didn't quite time it right. A nice gamble. I see several juniors at the front. Matty Hers is still sneaking in there. Brett Seahorn's still on the action as well. He's got lots of running room. He's been very conservative coming into this one, as well as Z-Dog back there for Fell Swoop. Still lots of room for him to maneuver up as the bell is still not ringing. The only person that knows what's going to go on for that is the bell ringer. She's got all the power, watching on, smiling behind that mask and saying, oh. JC goes out just as the baby cries. He was really rooting for you, JC. Very impressive track standing there as we now got a one to go. It's a big sprint here. Matty Hers in perfect position down the sprinter's lane. It just looks so comfortable in that track stand. Jeez, off he goes. It was like nothing for him. He was ready for this race. Locked and loaded right behind the start line, and off goes Matty Hers, flying down the back straight for this one-lap sprint, a chariot race in all but name, except for that difficult start. How about it, folks? Put your hands together for Matty Hers coming out of the turn here. He'll be our winner for the Marymore Crawl tonight on our fun novelty race. Well done to Hers, blowing this one up. Well ridden. And that looks like Fowler also joining in the fun. One of our juniors, Joe Spranger, making it in there. Yeah, Brett. That's right. Z-Dog making it through to the Marymore Crawl. Well done. All right, everybody. We are going to be going back into the normal racing, so to speak, after that one lap of fun. The next set of races are all missing outs, and our Cat 4 competitors, there are several of them that were in that last race, are now going to make their way over to staging. Cat 4 competitors for staging for the missing out on deck. Cat 3 men for their missing out. Once again, I'll let the officials kind of give us the reminders and the rundown before we get started for each of these. I believe, depending on the size of field, I heard that the way we'll be running it's a little different. So it'll be good to kind of remind ourselves before we start it. And that'll be happening down there in the staging area. Cat 4 men all reporting to the staging area, please, for your missing out.
Okay, Cat 4 men, you are going to be doing a missing out. We're going to pull down to 3 riders. When we get down to 3 riders, you'll get a bell. There will be 1 no-pull lap, and then you'll be sprinting for 1st through 3rd place. For everything else, as you're coming along, there's no point in sprinting yourself into a hole that you can't escape out of. Make sure that you've got an escape route when you move into a spot. We're going to roll you neutral from the start grid. Together, I will start you with a whistle in 4. You can go ahead and remove your map. 16.
All right. This isn't the fastest neutral usually in racing is the missing out, and we haven't done this one yet this season. This is an elimination style race. Last rider crossing the line will be pulled from the race until we get down to 3. They'll have a little bit of an interim and then a sprint for the top 3 positions is the way this one works out. So we're going to be watching the back of the field more than the front really intently in this race. The call will come here as they're crossing the line. We'll try to get them clearly explain which rider should be exiting. They're going to get a bib number from our officials out of turn 2 will be called, and I will also call it over the loudspeaker to try to assist in that. The bib number will be the primary way of communicating who comes out. We eliminate down to 3, and then it's a sprint for those top 3 spots for those riders after a brief interim lap. There's just this little moment. You'll notice that we're not going to show laps remaining because sometimes there's no pole laps. There's things that can kind of change how long the race goes for. It's all based on how many riders are still in the field. So rather than show laps, we're just going to count the riders, and that'll let us know about how much longer we got before the racing is concluded. And that whistle will be the start after this lap. As you're crossing that line, we will remove one rider, begin plucking them from their event one at a time. So the formation is pretty common in the missing out. You'll see them bunched out pretty narrow at the front, wide at the back. Who's going to be the first out here? 4:16. 4:16 called on the first lap. .416 should be coming out of the field. Going around again. This is a no pole lap. No pole lap. We need 4:16 to come out.
Jacob Luna, you are out. Jacob Luna.
No pole this lap. There we go. We will get a pole next time around. So there you go. We already saw why we don't do the laps on the very first time around. We're all remembering how to do this stuff, folks. Preseason. All right. This time, we're looking for a rider at the back of the field, and you can see the acceleration. Anywhere above that light blue line is where you're going to really see riders kind of move into position and accelerate out of turn 4, come down the hill, and try to find as much room as they can to move up to the front. And where do you get eliminated from? Down in the bottom. 4:20 is Stan Douglas already shaking his head going, dang it. The worst spot to be is at the back of the field in the sprinter's lane. It feels so good down the back straight, but then the field comes over the top of you and you don't have anywhere really to go. It's tough. So Douglas exiting on the back straight, and we're down one more. Swinging out through the turn again. Here we go. Look down towards the bottom. Is it going to be another rider in the sprinter's lane? Oh, not quite, I don't think. 4:11. 4:11. James Campbell Harris caught at the bottom just barely as our junior accelerating to nip him at the last moment. So JC staying in. He's the one who made that last little kick there at the back of the field to stay in another lap, as it'll be him once again at the back of the field. What will he do with this opportunity? He finds himself down at the bottom. Is anywhere to go? And he's looking around, hoping there's somebody behind him. There is not. 4:06. signaling to the world he knows he's going to pull up to that high part of the track and slow down, and he's letting everyone, yep, I got it. I'm making my exit. And another one coming up here. Let's see what we get. That's 415, one of the Jerry Baker Juniors, as Funt is found there. Carson Funt, 415, 415. He knew it too. He saw it coming. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in the sprinter's lane. You'll see that, especially in these early laps, right? When we get down to about 5, 6 riders, there's a lot more room. Then what ends up happening is the riders are all just kind of straight across the track if they're matched in speed, of course. A lot more room for them to maneuver. Everybody happy to just be behind Benjamin Flund right now at the front of this thing. Ooh. 413 is called. That was close. 413 is Mike Ritter. It was him or one other right alongside of him, and it was darn close. Trying to squeeze in the middle of that field. .408. 408. Stats is caught there. Colin will be coming out 408. We're starting to get down to it. You can see the field's a lot smaller than it started. We've lost just almost half, I believe, of our riders, so looking like we're starting to thin out. Who's going to survive here in these critical rounds? 407 is Peterson. Okay, we have rider down, but up again. I think we're okay. Racing continues. Who's going to find it this time? Man, we're fast at the front now. There's been a lot of activity leading this pack, but the sprint still matters most of the back. 444 is Fowler. Will Fowler, 4444. All the fours. Does he like the number 4? Seven riders left, 4 to eliminate. 4 more riders will be eliminated here. We have our top 7 getting down to it. 402 is Malakoff, already shaking his head. Itai will make his way off this time. 6 riders still in there. So 2 riders for the Liquid Velo team, Zach and Ben Jurassic in there. I see, I believe, Spranger for the juniors. Parker Stanford in there for the junior squad as well. It's Benjamin Flaunt at the front is in that all-black kit, has been leading this field for a long time. John Levy also in the mix, our winner from the first race. .404. 404. Zach caught that time. 404. 404. .404 is supposed to be coming out. This is a no pull, I believe. I haven't heard anything. All right, we'll find one next time. 2 more to eliminate. Our final 2. So here is the top 5. So 5th place will be settled here on this elimination. So next rider out is in 5th in the overall standings. So the last rider right now is one of the juniors. Is Parker. Can he hold on here? He lost some ground and made it up really heroically. Will he have enough to stay in another lap? Oh, not quite enough. What an effort, though. Well done. Parker with a nice ride will be out on this lap. 4 remain. The junior in the black and blue of the Jerry Baker's team is Joe Spranger. It's Ben Jurassic in the black and green next to him. John Levy, our first winner tonight for this field in second wheel position in the all-black kit. And the leader of this field right now, Benjamin Flom, is looking to just be really strong. You're not giving up this front position. Now showing 2 to go on the red lap cards as this is the final pull. After this, it's going to be an interim lap. 494 Spranger is eliminated. The remaining 3 will go around, hear the bell next time for the 1 to go and sort out the top 3. You have your survivors. They made it through the elimination as we've got, again, Benjamin Flom, the leader in the positioning right now in the all black. He's got the blue helmet on. In the middle in the all black with that white frame, John Levy in second spot currently, and at the back of the group currently is Ben Jurassic in the black and green, our top 3. Who's going to win it all? I don't know. Levy's been looking like he hasn't had to take the front too often. I think he's pretty fresh at 1 to go. We'll see. We will see at 1 to go. It's a 3-man sprint now. And now he's on at the 400-meter mark. He says, time to go. He's just going to open things up. And I think this is going to be a hard one to battle back against, as now Levy just is able to open things up for himself. Several bike lengths between him and his chasing competitors. The junior making some gains here on Flom as well, trying to get up to his rear wheel. If he can get contact up there and start to swing around him, he might be chasing in for second place himself. Levy racing a nice race and has a fantastic final lap for the win here. It'll be Jurassic and Flom for 2 and 3, our top 3 riders in the Cat 4s, riding excellently in the missing out. Well done. Great racing for the Cat 4 competitors. They'll take a breather, and we'll have them back again for a scratch race later tonight. In the staging area, Cat 3s on deck. The next group up for the missing out. I believe it's going to be elimination down to the last rider for the women. And for the Cat 3s, I'll wait for the confirmation on that one, but I believe that's the call. I'll let the official, yep, get the thumbs up. Thank you very much. All right, we'll let those officials say the official thing, and I'll stop making things up. All right, next field coming up. Cat 3s for their ride down to 1 elimination here, coming up in just a moment.
Okay, you guys are going to be doing an elimination race. We're going to pull all the way down to 2 riders. You get a bell at that point, and then you're sprinting for first and second. It's like with the other field. We're going to start you from the start grid. As long as you're all together in turn 4, I will start you with a whistle. Go ahead and remove your mask.
Coming onto the track, we got Cat 3s for their elimination race. Currently in the neutral. We'll start them in turn 4 as long as they're still together. We're just going to keep on rolling these guys down to the final rider. So there's not going to be kind of that breaking point between 3 riders and then that interim lap and then a bell. It's just going to be right down to the final 2 to sort out the last lap. So not the normal missing out. This is really an elimination. Currently in the neutral, starting out of turn 4, we'll get this thing really rolling. It'll be a short race because it's a smaller field. That's what determines the length of this race. So coming up pretty quickly, our women competitors for their elimination. And there's the whistle. The race has started. Next lap, 1 rider's out. Going to be already less room to hide as we got a smaller field. So right away, you don't see that typical formation. It's already single file. And then riders are going to have to make this really heroic effort out of turns 3 and 4 almost right away in this race just to come up and match the speed of the leaders. Not a lot of action in the back. It's going to have to all come up to the front real quickly here. So swinging out wide. Z-Dog making his move up along the outside edges. Who's going to be found and snipped at the bottom of this thing? 308. 308. We may have one that's given themselves up on this lap. Still technically a pole lap here, but it looks like we already know who that's going to be. It's going to be Seahorn. Six riders left in the field. Again, we're eliminating down to the final two in a match sprint that'll be left after that. So a couple more laps here to start thinning things out. Six riders in the group still. Come through the turn. And Gene Wainwright, the rider for Dyna Racing, having to make a bit of a move here. Is it going to be Z? It will be. 305. Z-Dog finds his exit on this lap. Five riders coming out of the turn now. And again, Gene Wainwright in that position again where he has to kind of sprint around the outside edge and try to be the one to eliminate you. It will be 306. Chris Wilson caught that time by the sprint of Gene Wainwright. Only four now left, so it looks like it's going to be Isaac Jurassic, the black and green of Liquid Veil, starting to look down at his pedals and trying to push a little harder. He's trying to see if anybody's matching his speed. It's a little easier if I just drive the pace now and see if I can just stay on the front for a bit. 303 as Snowblin knows he's making his exit. Jurassic will now take the lead position, and now we basically have a three-person sprint as they're kind of sitting up here. It's still elimination next lap. Women competitors should be staging. Thank you for the reminder. Women competitors, we are staging on the infield, in the warm-up circle, I should say. Three riders, it's still an elimination lap here. Gene Wainwright finds himself at the front of this field. Kaiser is the rider in the very bright orange helmet. You can always tell where the laser's at as he's now coming out of turn 4. The laser looks like he's going to stay in. It's going to be a junior match sprint. Wainwright makes the exit, and we got two juniors going mano a mano. It's going to be Kaiser and Jurassic going head-to-head as Kaiser will ride up towards the rail. This does look like a match sprint format as they're going to be rolling up the rail. And now down the back straight, down into the flat they go. It'll be Jurassic taking the big, strong lead, but if Kaiser can match, he can get a second attempt here. He just has to get up to that rear wheel and get a second bit of speed. If he can slingshot himself through the turn, he still has a chance. Can the laser get there? Oh, a big push for Henry. Can he get out to Isaac? It's going to be Isaac Jurassic. Oh, he holds on by about half of a bike length. Great work by Kaiser, matching pace and almost finding enough speed to overtake him. Great match sprint between the two of those young riders. An exciting finish for the Cat 3s. Up next, our women are staged, and they will be coming out onto the track for their elimination. On deck, category 1-2 men. You've got the same thing upcoming, although I think we're running that one as a typical missing out. We got a big field, so we'll make that happen. All right, coming onto the track now. Women competitors eliminating down to the last rider. In the neutral. Don't forget that we got lots of racing still going on through the rest of this year. This is still actually technically preseason. We get more races going on at the Velodrome once we get into the summer months. Things get even more heated up around here starting in June when we add Wednesday nights back onto the program. We race Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 o'clock weekly, as long as the rain is not a problem. If we got any sort of precipitation, racing will be canceled at some point or maybe delayed. It's kind of the nemesis of racing action. However, Friday nights are the only one that we charge during the regular season. It's usually $5 at the gate to get in on a regular season Friday night. Mondays and Wednesdays you can always check out for no cost. So if you want to check that out, those programs will get started, and more of that racing will be coming to you during the summer months, starting in the month of June. There's already Monday racing going on, so if you want to see that, we are doing that during the preseason as well. And if you can't keep track of all this stuff, because I barely can, and I practically look at this stuff every day, you can go to velodrome.org/calendar and just kind of see all of the things that are happening at the track, including our classes, when we have open training going on. If there's nothing else going on, fun fact, this is publicly owned land here, so if we're not using it, you can actually bring your own equipment and ride around on here if you want to experience what it's like to be here. But you know what's even more fun than that? You can do a try the track course and use one of our fixed gear bikes. We have some here. We have fixed gears that you can try on the track. Register for those online at velodrome.org and see what it's like. And we're going into our very first of the eliminations for this field. The big sprint around the top. Who will be finding their way out? That is 2:05. Leah caught on the first lap there. 2:05. Riding pretty wide across the track here, this field, finding their space. And it'll be Milla, 2:02, bowing the head and knowing it's her turn to exit. 5 riders remain. Cat 1-2s, you're coming up pretty quick here. There's only 5 riders left in the elimination, so probably want to make your way to the warm-up circle and be ready if you haven't done so yet. And here we go. Riding right across the track. Which one will it be? 2-1-0. 2-1-0. Scoville. 2-1-0. Still limiting down to the final rider. So with 4 in the field, we got to pull 3 more technically. So 3 laps here at this point if nothing weird happens. Bella getting some encouragement, but it will be 2-0-1. Bella making her way out. Stotts, Edwards, and Alexander are the 3 women still in the field, working their way down towards the final rider. Stotts in the front position with the green, that light green helmet. On her right, currently Edwards flanking her and ready to come into that lead position if needed, as it'll be 3 riders challenging one another. 1 rider to be pulled. Alexander currently in the tag-along position, but she's starting to accelerate now as the bell's ringing. Next time around, we're going to find our winner. And, oof. Alexander, 113 called, 113. It'll be Edwards versus Stotts as we come through turn 3. The rider in the inside, Stotts, Edwards on the outside. Now she's zipping out of the saddle as Edwards accelerating through the turn, trying to find this win in the elimination, coming out of turn 4. Looking quick. Stotts trying to do something to hold on with the sprint and not enough. It'll be Edwards and Stotts, our top 2. She shakes her head, says, man, I almost had it. Slow down for a second, darn it. Oh, I see you over there, Dennis. Thanks for being here. DBC Photos, photo.com, taking all the pictures tonight. You can go check out after the racing action. He'll get them up for you real quick. So check out dbcphoto.com, one of our great sponsors and partners here in the community. Dennis does great work for action photography. Beautiful stuff that he posts online. You got to check it out.
Okay, you are going to be doing a missing out. We are going to be pulling down to 3 riders. When we get down to 3 riders, you'll be given a bell, one no-pull lap, and then you'll be racing for first, second, and third. Going to roll you neutral from the start grid. I'll start you in turn 4 as long as you are all together. It's okay. Okay, go ahead and roll out.
Our final elimination race currently coming on the track is the Category 1-2 men. This probably will be the fastest neutral tonight. We'll see. Because, you know, you can't make agreements about a slow neutral. Come on now, guys. Off they go. The front of the field trying to set a certain pace to establish the speed of this group. And the back says no. They're not doing it. Likely going to be another time around here. I hear no whistle. I see the signal from the officials. We will take another lap to get ourselves back in contact with one another. This is going to be a missing out. So once again, like the first race we had here in this series of elimination races, this goes down to 3 riders. Then they'll have a lap of no elimination. Then they get a bell, and those 3 riders are sprinting for the finish. So there's just a slight difference between the elimination and the missing out in the way that it finishes on our track. And it looks like with a nice little kick down the back straight, the groups will be coming back into contact shortly. We'll see if this is enough. Hands up in the air, so it looks like we're about to get the whistle. And there we go. All right. The purpose of the neutral accomplished. Field together. Next time around, last rider will exit. All the way down to 3. Big field here, lots of elimination to do. If you're coming into the velodrome here from the park, you heard my voice, and you're kind of curious what we're doing. Yes, this is Friday night racing at the track. We do it every single week. You might see our signs around about racing here at Friday night. We do it during the summer months. Generally, this is our preseason. We're just getting warmed up, quite literally, in this mostly beautiful month of May. First rider to get out, who's going to be our early exiter? 16-1-6. All right, sweeping off with the top. You're going to see this a lot. Big sprints coming down along the rail. That's the only place to do it. Two zero, 20. Eric Waterman. One rider way off the front, ain't going to get nothing on this lap, but he's guaranteeing that, and way off the front, that's not a huge distance, but it's enough. 22 is making the exit this lap is Mike Rogers. As I was speaking, though, the rider in the blue, bib 29, 25, Wilson's off the front he's kind of guaranteeing it's a little bit of extra buffer that he's not anywhere in the action behind him. And what will eventually happen is this field will kind of catch onto him, and they'll just kind of sit behind his wheel for a while. He'll be the new leader for a while as the field is happy taking the pace of someone else. 27 found in the mix there is Siegel. I don't even know. I guess it's what you put on your registration. The Dirty Bird's out. Alex Siegel's removed. Who put you up to that? Actually, I should say who made me say that. That's fantastic. Working our way down. Who's our next rider out? Looking right in the middle of the field. I think he knows it. 15. Matty Hers is confirmed. 15.
It is.
$19 down on the inside. Number 19 is Vern Cole. Vern Cole. Two, 6. Super Mario is caught. Number 26. 2-6. Number 5, Christian Miller. Number 5. Number 5, Miller. Still working our way down. The field thinning here as we look for one more. Maybe in the middle of the field this time. Bib one. It's Carlberg. He's already swinging up, knowing he didn't have a space, didn't make the move, wasn't able to stay in one more lap. Eight remain in the field. We're working our way down to 3, so 5 more to eliminate before that breaking lap. And look on the outside for the acceleration from Found Cycling. 3-4 on the inside. It will be number 34, Haldeman. Haldy found there on the lap. Oh, right down the middle. It looks like number 9, Robson. The Baby Blues are getting taken out of the field. Well, one's still in there. It's Wilson's who went up to the front, and he's still sitting there. The rest of the field happy to be working in his draft at the moment. If you survive the elimination at the front of the field like this, sure, you get top 3, but do you have the legs left for the sprint? Maybe that doesn't matter. I mean, a top 3 finish, that's still a good place to be. That's a great way to race this thing. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple laps as we work our way down. 24 is called. 24. Butler. Five remain. 2 to eliminate before we take that break lap where there's just a little pause before the 3 riders sprint for the top spots. Still Wilson's and now Andy Baker alongside of him are the front of this race right now as they work to keep this thing quick. Martinez already starting to shake his head a little bit. 18 is called. Nolan Adams sneaking across is the rider in pink for Dyna. Currently the field at 4. Who will be the last to get pulled before the 3-up sprint? Wilson's now finds himself behind Andy Baker. Baker not having to be at the lead, looking a little bit fresher as he's going to start accelerating and just make it hard for Wilson's, who's been at the front for an awful long time. It might be too much. Seeing 2 to go, and Wilson still has enough in the legs. Can he hold on one more? He will. Well done. That's going to be number 6 finding his exit as Brando is done. Finds 4th place overall. This is a bit of a non-pole lap, a no-action lap, so to speak. They're going to maybe take a moment. Although I know Wilson's is happy rolling this thing, and so is Baker. We'll see neither of them doing a whole lot as they're going to go up to the rail. The higher you ride, the slower you're trying to go, as you're going to save your potential energy for the sprint. All riders now in a sprinting position all the way along the railing. Turn that wheel to the left, and all of a sudden you got a big jump from that downhill. What a great position to be in if you want to accelerate as it gets to the bell. They're still not up to it. Holding on the sprint. This looks like a pace line still as they're rolling along into turn 1. Who's going to make the first jump? It'll be Baker out of the turn. Number 4. Wilson's wasn't quite ready for it, but he will be able to make a reaction move. Will it be enough, though? Now it's going to be Nolan Adams in the pink following on the line of Baker. Baker making the big jump. Adams was on his wheel, knew exactly who to follow and try to hold on to this race. But look, who's still on speed. Are you kidding me? What? Wilson's coming back into this thing. Wilson's, Baker, Adams, Wilson's on the outside, number 25. What are you kidding me? I thought he was done. It's just now, I was just getting my breath back. Come on. Nolan Adams will hold on in that sprint. He does come around Andy Baker for second place. Baker making it into the top 3. All right. That was a fun finish. That's why track racing is fun to watch. We get 12 of those in a night. Cat 4s, I apologize for not helping you get ready. I should have said something sooner. Cat 4s, it's time for staging. My apologies on not assisting us here. Cat 4s are coming on up. Coming up, our third series of races tonight. It will be our featured race, the Scratch with Preems. Fairly long scratch races, and I've got some of the Preems to throw out to you. I got 2 per race. And once again, it's a 10 and a 5. Bells will be rung from the infield. So riders, you will hear a bell on the infield from the start line, the finish line. You will hear a bell for 2 Preems in each of these scratches, 1 for $5 and 1 for $10.
Okay, Cat 4 men, you are doing a 15-lap scratch. As you just heard, there will be 2 Preems during the race, 1 for $5, 1 for $10. Just like all the other races today, I'm going to roll you neutral from the start grid. I will start you in turn 4 as long as you're all together. Go ahead and remove your masks. Okay, go ahead and roll out.
Going for the neutral. This is a scratch race. I get the rules really quickly on this one. You ready? First rider to get across the line on the last lap wins. All right, I'm done. I'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. There are 2 fun laps in the middle of this thing, the Preems. What is a Preem all about? Well, that's a special prize. Sometimes for some of our bigger races, we'll even do crowd Preems. We'll raise a little bit extra cash to throw at a rider on a lap and incentivize some extra speed. Tonight, we just got a little bit out of our bank account to throw in their direction just to encourage a little extra speed on a lap or 2. This time, I've got a $10 Preem and a $5 Preem. We get to choose when that occurs, so I get to have a little bit of fun and decide when to incentivize the riders. Most importantly, though, will be the final bell at 1 to go. The first rider across the line on that lap will be the winner of our scratch race. Cat 4s have been exciting tonight. A nice sized field today. We'll see who finds the front of this thing. Keep your eyes on, if you've been watching this thing earlier tonight, you've already seen some of our fast riders out of this group. You kind of know who to watch. We'll see how this plays out. Our group's all together and about ready to get their start signal. There it is. Racing is underway. Cat 4s, 15 to go, and the scratch race is underway. Who will emerge victorious? And which junior is going to get really motivated by a $5 Preem? Those are the questions I have in my mind. So if it's a scratch race of 15 laps, we're going to kind of think about this race in a couple of different parts. You got this earlier section where everyone's a little bit anxious. Maybe you're going to see some riders go to the front and kind of push the pace and see who responds. The field's going to be kind of rotating through leaders. At some point in the middle of the race is where if somebody wants to get away from the field, they might try to make a move. So you might see somebody try to get off the front of the field after a little sprint, or maybe after a preem, someone's going to try to make a breakaway occur. And then there's the final couple laps, and especially if it's a big field, that's where we talk about the sprint mechanics and the tactics of where you need to be in the field to make the big last move and try to win this thing. Yeah, $5 is cool, $10 is cool, but nothing's cooler than winning, so, you know, nothing. I mean, don't take advice from Nolan Adams on that topic, I guess. Yeah. 13 to go. Fields all together. That's Mr. Springer at the front. 494. You see riders usually, if there's a decent effort in speed on the field, take about 200-meter pulls. So they'll come into the front during the turn, as you see one of our juniors doing now, and then out of the straight, they'll take their exit and swing up and let someone else take the lead. If they're not wanting to do much work, riders will take very quick pulls. They'll just pull out of the way almost immediately. So it just depends on who's up there taking their turns. Seeing 11 to go, and the field riding pretty wide here. 3 lines of riders means their speed is not anywhere near where they can be at their top. So not everyone's trying to hide in a spot. Everyone's okay kind of gathering up. The wider the field, the slower the overall relative speed is. Picking up a little bit of pace here at the 10 to go mark. You notice the field's starting to stretch out a little bit. And there's the bell for $5 to lead the lap. $5 to lead the lap here at 10 to go. $5. And like I said, which junior is going to go for it? Because I'll tell you what, $5? Heck yeah. I didn't pay for my race entry. Let's go get $5. I'm making bank tonight. And our first preem, $5 richer. Oh, Springer springs into action. Colin's like, man, I wanted that. He saw the light, and then it got taken away from him. I got Springer, $5 richer on the preem, and we still have one more to throw out in this field. To go. Single file formation behind the Mr. Big Money Banks there, Joe Springer. Pulling this field around still after that big sprint, so he's feeling fast. Getting about to that halfway point. Calling stats now at the front. So again, after those first couple laps where it was pretty bunched up, we have seen pretty good speed from the field. Seven to go. Ben Jurassic, bid 403, showing he's ready to move to the right. After taking his pole, riders quickly through the revolving door of the front position. Still altogether pretty impressive, actually. This is a decently long scratch race, and it has not been slow, but this field is being very consistent in its competitiveness all night. As these Cat 4s, oh, there's another bell. $10 to lead the lap. $10 to lead the lap. You thought 5 was good. What about 10? $10 to lead the lap. That bell ringing as they saw 6 to go. Next time we'll see 5 as we're getting into the final third of this race. This is where we're moving into that sprinter's mentality. That's all about the finish here pretty soon. Kind of looking for that second effort of a big sprint. It looks like that might be Malakoff that's making his move. And at the 5 to go, I do believe that will be Itai Malakoff. Off to the ATM machine. $10 for him. We now turn our attention to the finish, as we will be getting there real soon. Next group should be making their way onto the warm-up circle, as we'll be staging here just really soon. We're about to be at 3 to go. So Cat 3s, if you make your way over, that'll keep us on schedule. Thank you. Cat 3s to the warm-up circle, ready for staging. 4 to go. The last mile for the Cat 4s here on our Friday night racing program. Their last 4 laps tonight. And they're still all in it. So now we switch into that modality of you have basically another kilometer of racing or so to make an early move. After that, it's kind of just who's going to make the final sprint, who's going to be the one to hit it hard at the last lap or two. So here's that last chance to see if somebody wants to try to make something happen at the front a little early. Benjamin Flom, who led the missing out for this field quite a bit. We know he's got legs to go on the endurance effort. We'll try something here. He's got 3 to go, and he's making the field pick up to his pace. Mike Ritter matches his speed. That's the rider in pink, 413. Joe Spranger, $10 in the back pocket. He's got some extra fuel ready to go. He's in 3rd position. Zach Jurassic for Liquid Velo is 4th. That's the black and green team. Nothing to it, though. Flom makes the group speed up, but what's the result is that he pulls out of the way, and then they start bunching up again and say, well, you don't want to do the work? Nor do I. It's time to sprint. So now everybody's in conserve and position mode, tactics mode. Where do you go? How do I find my lane, and how can I stay at the front of this field? 2 to go. If you're in the back half of this group, it's going to make it awfully hard to find a spot to be unless you're riding really high or you find that window. The other thing you got to watch is riders will find a wheel. So at this point, there's going to be some movement in the middle of the group. And you'll see riders maybe pick a wheel that's like, you know what, I'm going to try to be on this wheel for this sprint and see if this will carry me to victory. Sometimes you don't have a lot of choice in that. Sometimes you can maneuver just right and get yourself positioned. So as we come into the sprint, you've got the right place to be. Looking for their lane at 1 to go. Here we go. The final lap tonight for the Cat 4s. Put your hands together, make some noise. Cat 4s, 1 to go, 1 to go, 1 to go. Zach Jurassic on the move. He's going to be chased down by, yes, his son is right behind him. Can he keep up with the pace of Zach? Is moving quick. He's hauling out the front of this field. He hasn't had to be out the front just yet, so he says, I got a fresh set of legs. Let's go 400 meters. Can anybody catch me? What about my son? He's right there. Can he get up there? Ben Jurassic on the move as well. Coming out of the field, a big move. It looks like running out of the corner, 3 wide. Is that going to be Levy that's been saving up his legs? It looks like John Levy wants to take it once again out of the middle of the field. Boom, says John Levy. Nice move out of the middle of that field. And that'll do it for the Cat 4s. Fantastic. That'll be it for the Cat 4s tonight. They've made it through their races. Up next is Cat 3s. Thank you. Yes. Well done. This field gave us some fantastic racing today. We'll give them one more round of applause as they come back on the home straight and say a final goodbye for the evening. Fantastic racing tonight. Thank you. On track, Category 3 competitors for a scratch with preems. Same rules, gentlemen. I got 2 preems for you, 1 for 5 and 1 for 10, and the bells will come from the infield. Kelly will handle that responsibility. Speaking of responsibility, we can't find the bell for me, so whoops. It's somewhere. We'll find it eventually. All right, and the whistle is sounding. So here we go for 20 laps of scratch racing. We'll hear 2 bells during this one for preems, and then the bell at 1 to go. $19 to go. Snowblin on the front, our rider in that all-white kit. No, it's white and black. Bib 303 either way. Single file formation as everybody's willing to kind of be in this pace line early on. This is not on the larger side for a field, so we're going to have to be very efficient. Riders taking their turns, slotting into the lineup. Plenty of laps still to click away. Next group up will be our women competitors. I'll try to remind you around that 5, 4, 3 laps to go or so to be in staging and ready to go. 18 laps. $16 to go. Riders taking their turns. Don Wells at the head of the train now. And that's for $5. Who wants the $5? $5 next time to lead the lap. $5 to lead the lap. Who gonna go get it? Kaiser on the front. The laser's like, who's gonna challenge me? Anybody? 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 Oh yeah. He was waiting just long enough until he makes his jump. He is not alone. He's got to work for it. The field's trying to move here. Kaiser on the move for 5. Looks like he's going to be picking up the extra cash. 5 riders at the front in a lineup here, starting to make a bit of separation for themselves at the end of that sprint. Our chasing group of 3 now responding and trying to get their way back up to it. Z-Dog on the front of the field, keeping it quick. He hasn't slowed off yet, so maybe trying to take advantage of this to shrink the field just a little bit if he can. Six riders make up the field on the back straight. Coming into turn 3 now is Snoblin in the lead position. We'll now pull out of the way. 11 laps remaining. Chris Wilson took his turn. You'll notice again, these are that pretty typical pulls right now, about 200 meters per rider. So you take the turn and the straight, and then you pull out of the way is kind of the typical etiquette here at our velodrome. At shorter velodromes that are anywhere from 200 to 330 meters, those would be more typical for a lap pull, depending on the speed of the velodrome. Ten laps showing. I've spoken a lot about the juniors here today. I want to remind you that we offer not just youth classes, but also a sponsored junior team. As you'll see that they're out there with our colors, the Jerry Baker Juniors team that works in cooperation with the velodrome here. You can find out information about youth classes, get juniors out here on the track and learn how to race, as well as registration for the team, who to get in contact about, all that stuff on our website by going to velodrome.org and then going to education. Under the youth classes, you'll find all that info about Try the Track for the juniors, our junior camps that go on in the summer, and of course, the team. Head to velodrome.org, or you can check out jerrybakerjuniors.org to learn more about the team as well. They'll be seeing 9 to go. Still our 6 riders make up the field on this lead lap, being led currently by the rider in white, Snoblin. 8 to go, they see. My mistake. Line up behind Z-Dog over on the back straight. Z-Dog taking a little bit of a longer effort here. Now he'll pull up as he realizes that the riders are basically there. Kaiser at the front as the laser's in position. And can he get another preem? $10 to lead the lap. But now he's got to do it from the front. All the way around the track. He'll pull up a little bit and the field will kind of follow his wheel. On any other lap, they would have stayed in the sprinter's lane and kept it fast, but now there's a sprint going on in their minds, so they're being more tactical and conservative and forcing Henry to stay at the front. Nobody currently challenging the junior, but maybe. Kaiser still at the front. He's on brand on the helmet. He's got the laser leading the way still. Orange helmet. Wilson's. Oh! Yikes! I need some help. I think the junior. It was 06. Okay. Found cycling. Boom. Chris Wilson for $10. With the bike throw, says the officials. Just enough. 5 to go. We're coming down to the last laps, and we've shrunk our field a little bit more. 4 riders now make up the front. They're now going over the Broadmark Realty Capital sign, get some help from Turn 1, who's been very encouraging tonight. I appreciate all of our fans that are here in person today. It's been awesome having you. Thanks for sticking around for this race program. It's awfully fun to have spectators here at the park. All right. Now we're making that final turn into the ending laps of this race, seeing 4 to go and 4 riders. Nobody taking any rest. Chris Wilson. So you'll notice some riders are losing a lap here as riders are coming around. So it's most important for who's going to win this race. We're going to watch the group of 4 that's currently in turn 3 under the Stanley sign. That's where our attention is for the front of the race. And they'll be setting the lap around. As you can now see, they come around. We are on the 3rd lap. That's because they got 3 laps to go. You see 3 to go for our leaders. Isaac Jurassic in the black and the green. Peter Snoblin in the white and black. The Laser Kaiser in the second wheel position in the orange helmet. Chris Wilson's has got the dark green kit. He's got kind of the key lime light green on his helmet, in the third position currently in that group of 4. Not surprising that they all seem to find that blue line comforting here as we're coming into the final 2 laps. Riding up in the upper part of the track. We've seen this a lot tonight. This is because this is the quiet before the storm. We know the sprint is upcoming, so let's use the hill a little bit to sort of set ourselves up for a nice move. And you saw Snowblin use the hill to accelerate himself. Rather than go at a 1 to go, he's actually going to try to move at about 2 to go and give himself an early attack, try to go the distance and hurt these guys in a sprint. That's a very intentional decision not to sprint at the 1 to go mark, and it hasn't quite paid off yet, as it looks like Wilson's able to hold on to the wheel. At 1 to go, it's Snowblin still driving it. The laser doesn't want to wait any longer. He's going to take his shot now. 3, 2, 1. The junior's on the move. He's got Jurassic right on his wheel, trying to go for the big win, and whoa! Jurassic was ready for this one. He is slingshotted hard around the corner, but guess what? So does Chris Wilson's ready to go. Ooh, a little bit of action going on in turn 3. Coming out of turn 4, it's still going to be our junior at the front. Bounce cycling, trying to re-accelerate. Acknowledging 301 coming across the line first. All right. So it does sound like we do have a relegation in the final sprint. They'll be swapping spots, our last 2 riders. So it will actually go to Wilson's as the winner of the race. That relegation is for coming out of the sprinter's lane while the sprint was engaged. Coming in from the officials. In a very tight sprint. Well done to the Cat 3 competitors. How about one more round of applause for our athletes here? Thank you. That will be their last race of the night as well. Women competitors are staged and ready to go. They are going to be followed by our last race of the night. Hard to believe it. Cat 1-2 men will be coming up after that. All right, coming onto the track. Scratch race with Preems. We'll do the same thing. Kelly will be responsible for ringing the bell 2 times in the race for $5 and $10. The lap cards do show 15, so 15 laps on the race. And our field all together. About get the sound here from our officials that the race is underway. And 15 to go for our women competitors. On deck, Cat 1-2s. Don't go anywhere. We got one more race left for them. You won't want to miss their scratch race. Here we go. 2 fantastic events remain in our program tonight. And again, 15 laps of racing here. Scratch race rules apply. Fastest rider by the end of this thing will be our winner. There's no points to track. There's just some preems to throw a little extra cash for riders on 2 of the laps. We are very fortunate here to have an incredibly supportive community. We have the support of volunteers that come out and assist us with our racing action. Of course, we've got folks behind the scenes, a volunteer board that does a lot of the management and work, the Marymore Velodrome Association, the nonprofit that runs the velodrome. But we also have the community at large that supports this velodrome, including the fundraising that we do year to year. That's right, we are a nonprofit organization that raises money to help put on these races. We are partially funded by our riders and our athletes. We're partially funded by donations from our community. We were really fortunate this year to receive some great support last year, I should say, for several of our ongoing projects, including the live streaming updates that, if you've been watching online, have hopefully been coming through. We've got bike cams that we've been adding in, some functionality there, better main cameras, more views all around the track. So a big thanks to our community for helping making that happen. In addition, we've been updating the bike fleet, and that's all come in thanks to all the donations from folks around the community that support us. We have another opportunity for support this year, coinciding with the kickoff next week. We have an online auction. So if you have any desire to support the program here or haven't had a chance to give some sort of support to the velodrome, we are running an online auction. It is entirely done online. There's not going to be any sort of live bidding that happens. It's all done through an online portal. And that starts next week. So mid next week, if you're looking for information on that, probably the best place to check besides just the website. If you stick to Twitter, our JB Velodrome, you'll get updates about that, as well as our Facebook page. We'll put up links to the auction frequently and remind you where you can go to get registered and support our riders, our programs, and all the things we're doing here to help make our athletes and our community a healthy and happy place to work and learn how to ride a bike. So check it out online at our Facebook page, or of course, like I said, Twitter, whatever platform you prefer. And our auction happening next week, starting on the 26th, I believe, is the first day of bidding. So again, we see some of that nice rotating action at the front of the field. One rider taking their turn about 200 meters or so, and then they rotate out at 11 to go. It's all about efficiency. Everybody is happy to make the field faster together. If we can share the work, you might as well. So pack tactics kind of playing a big role here in our fields, especially early on when everybody's fresh and lots of laps still to go. Leah taking her turn at the front. Everybody happy being right behind her currently. Our field of 7. Still all together in the earlier parts of this race. We're kind of getting to that halfway point here soon. And still 2 preems to go out, a $5 and a $10 cash preem to kind of mix things up. That's for $5. Our first belt's for $5 at 9 to go. $5 to lead the lap at 9 to go. It's Edwards currently at the front position. In a very good spot. I'm looking at Danny in a good position. Might want to take advantage here. We'll see as they start to roll down the backside of the track. Danny finding a little bit of acceleration here coming through turn 3. Emily Alexander also moving up towards the front of this one. It will be Scoville coming out of the turn. Nobody wanting to lose her wheel, though. At 8 to go, Scoville, Alexander. Scoville finds the $5. And a bit of increased speed following the preem effort has put some pressure on this group, and we now see a little bit of break in the group, mostly coming back together as our 4 looks like it might become 6 here as they come back onto the back part of the track. They just saw 7 to go. And that's for $10 to lead the lap, $10 to lead this lap. Oh, man. $10 is called my name, says Leah. I started this race for these $10. That's what she's thinking. She comes quickly up to the front. It's Alicia Stotts in the green alongside her. Alicia's not giving up the front position yet, though. Going down the back straight, it looks like Fount Cycling still on it. Here comes Danny. Oh, Danny coming out of the field. She had that one ready to go as she pulls out another great sprint. She'll find the $10. Scoville, Stotts, Edwards now make up the front three. Don't want to lose the pace of that fast sprint, so they had to do the effort to stay with her. Making it fast. All right, that's it. I can't mess with them anymore. After this, it's just a race for the finish. And coming up next will be Cat 1-2 men. We are seeing 4 to go, so if you're not heading to that warm-up circle, now would be the time if you're in this next race. Category 1-2s should be heading to the warm-up circle and being prepared for staging as we're seeing 4 to go right now. Just about ready for our final race. 4 to go. Front of the race going through turn 1 right now. And all riding above the blue line, signaling we're at that slower speed now. Let's leave open some room to our left to accelerate. If you're intrigued by this thing and this whole racing thing, maybe you haven't been around track racing before, this is a great track to learn on. Its size is quite large, and because of that, the banks are quite gentle. These actually do not have a whole lot of incline to them at only 23 degrees at maximum. Indoor tracks of shorter distances can be much more extreme, such as 44, 45 degrees. And you can imagine that sort of situation. You do not need to maintain a ton of speed to stay upright and learn what it feels like to ride a track bike. I say that because we have a fantastic fleet of rentals that you can come and learn on. So we really pride ourselves on being a great place to learn about the sport. A lot of learners here, a lot of juniors, a lot of folks that are coming out as a family and learning about the sport. If you just want to try it out and aren't interested in really becoming a racer, you just want to learn more about it and experience it, you can do so. Adults can sign up for an adult try the track for just $10 online. That includes the bike for the hour that we get you out here. We'll get you set up, help you understand how best to do it safely, and have some fun just trying it out. See what it feels like to race a little bit, ride the bike for fun. And you can sign up for that online anytime you'd like at velodrome.org. Getting down to it, the field is definitely sort of settled in with one another in these final laps. At 2 to go, it will just be the big sprint coming up here shortly, as we'll hear a bell next time around. 2 to go. Staging should be occurring now as we're getting ready for our final race of the night. Cat 1-2s for their scratch race. Positioning going to be, again, an important part of this. Not a big field, so lots of room. So it's really more about front and back position. If you're going to try to sprint, you need to be in position to do so. So just being far enough in the front of this group as they come through the turn. It's going to be Danny. She's $15 richer already. She also wants to win it, though. At 1 to go, our final lap for the women competitors. And Liquid Bell has been storing it up for this one. Time to pull out the aces as Emily Alexander lets one unload on this group. Coming down through the home straight. Now it takes the front. But they're not done yet. Alexander with a nice ramp up through the home straight. But is it enough to take away this field? And no, it is not, as Scoville will come back into the front of this one. Danny with a nice counterattack. Bring it with their coach Edwards coming out of the turn. Edwards trying to get another acceleration here. Scoville brilliantly played. Edwards has enough to come around Scoville. And Stotts will get the 3rd place finish. Fantastic racing. A lot of juniors in this field, and we're so proud of these young riders and the future of the sport out here. Lots of young riders in this junior team and in our region. So thank you so much for being here and racing wonderfully tonight under the Friday Night Lights. I'm sorry I didn't play Top Gun, James. I was really busy. I know. Some of our riders making their exit will be the Cat 4s that have finished up for the night. How about one more round of applause for all of our women competitors? Thank you for some great racing today. Well done. Coming up in just a moment, our officials will start our final field of the night. We have Category 1-2 competitors for their scratch race with preems.
Okay, Cat 1-2 men, you're going to be doing a 25-lap scratch. They're going to be 2 preems, one for $5, one for $10. I'm going to roll you neutral from the start grid. I will start you in turn 4 as long as you're all together. Go ahead and remove your mask. All right, go ahead and roll out.
All right, taking the track, our final field tonight. Cat 1-2s. Let's see what we got. 25 laps of racing. 25. And there are 2 preems, a $5 and a $10, confirmed by officials just a moment ago. Our winner of our missing out at the back of the group, kind of making his way up there. So if you were watching that second race, you saw Stephen Wilson's find the victory there. So there's one rider to watch for sure, based on his efforts there. We've seen plenty of racing from this group already. We'll see how they come out for their longest race of the night and their featured race, the scratch race.
There are stains on your photo, little cracks on your rusty frame, stuck in the mud.
All right, that whistle was to get us started. 25 laps of scratch racing. Let's see what happens here. So this is just over the threshold of distance where big endurance can be a big part of this race, and that's what Andy Baker is going to try to demonstrate for us on lap 1. If you've got base legs, you put in your base miles in the off season, you feel like you can go the distance, mileage is something you're good with, then this is a fantastic opportunity to try to get off the front and establish your early leading position. And if that pays off, awesome. You got a breakaway. You might win the race just off of that. If it doesn't pay off as a breakaway, you're still making all these riders work really hard to hold on to you, which is what's happening right now. So you can see there's quite the effort to stick with Andy Baker's initial attack, and the field has responded well. He knows it as well as they do that he's been caught. He's going to sit up and see what happens next. So the rider in white, Andy Baker, finds himself several riders back, and now the Chicken Express moving things along is Butler, number 24, in that dark black kit with some purple to him, is finding himself at the front as we're single file. So we had enough of a rest between the last race and this race that everybody's well rested and ready to go at the beginning of this. And this is why I kind of talked about the 3 phases of the scratch. You got this early part where it's kind of like just survival. And when you got bigger fields, it's a lot of speed, a lot of shedding riders, a lot of attacks off the front. When a new rider that's ready to go gets to the front, they'll just go, like Christian Miller will do here. He's like, I got open daylight, I'm going to take it. So he'll put in an effort, and again, you have to respond, survive, stay in the field, make it through this early activity. Christian Miller in the baby blue at the front, bib number 5, looks over his right shoulder to see that it's been well responded to. It's going to be a name we've called a couple times already as Baker responds quickly and makes his way up. He does not going to let any of these things get away from him early in the race. He's on a mission at 21 to go. Down and low in the bars. He pulls out of the right and gives way back to, once again, Christian Miller. These two doing a lot of work at the front of this field currently. The names I call less are going to be the ones that we want to watch at the end of this thing, because they're going to be the ones that are conserving energy, and they may be the most dangerous if they can survive for the sprint at the end of it. And that is for $5 to lead the lap at 20 to go. Butler on the front of this thing pulls up to the right, and again, $5 to lead the lap at 20 to go. Who's going to find this first of the 2 preems? Everybody's slow. This is actually causing the group to slow down now as we're kind of like waiting for somebody to make the next move. Who will take advantage here and move up to the front? Coming out of turn 3 and 4, that looks like. Is that still Butler up at the front of this thing? It looks like it will be number 24, as Butler will find the $5. Showing 18 on the lap cards and still cruising along well here. Again, number 4, Baker. We see Butler again. Right behind him is Matty Hers, who's made some good efforts out the front as well. Plenty of fast riders pushing pace. If they have mission successful, you'll notice this field will start to thin at some point. If not, all the riders stay in, the field stays big. That's going to become a problem later on. So we'll see how this strategy plays out. But again, lots of speed in the early parts of this race. 17 to go. $16 to go, and that looks to be Martinez on the front. Nick Martinez pulls to his right, and Butler opening things up a little bit as you see him get up out of the saddle just to kind of give a little bit more power for the pedals. Straight line here. So again, plenty of speed in the early parts of this race and not letting up. And as soon as I say that, a lot of riders are swinging up a little high to take a breather. And at 15 to go, the field willing to take it a little easy for a moment. Mike Robson looking over his shoulder, trying to see who's going to join him here at the front as he continues to try to keep things quick. Rider number 9 in the blue. And there's some riders that'll take the bite. They'll move on up. And again, it's going to be Andy Baker in the white, coming up to the front. Happy to be there at 14 to go. He continues to find himself there. Vern Cole right on his wheel. So certainly not getting away from anybody anytime soon. This field very concerned about anybody getting away off the front, not letting any sort of breaks form early. To go, and the field is now looking a little bit pensive here, looking at each other, kind of wondering who might make the next move. So a moment to catch your breath.
You and me,
12 to go, and we have 2 riders out the front. I've called the names plenty of times. You should know who those people are. I should quiz you. It's Butler and Baker. But look at this huge turn of speed from a couple riders that are absolutely not letting this get away. Steven Wilson's coming into his own now as we come into past the halfway point. Wilson's has not been at the front much. He was ready to catch that one fast. So the field coming together again at 11 to go. Brando, number 6, says, no thanks, I don't need to be here anymore. I'll pull up. Baker does not want to let this thing slow down, so he's just going to keep driving it as he finds the front of the field one more time. At 10 to go. We haven't lost a lot of riders despite all this effort to make it fast. It's basically the same group we started with. 15 laps have already gone by. They just came by at the 10 to go mark, and once again, mostly all still together. The field's shed a couple here and there.
I stay in bed, I still got the feeling.
9 to go. Mayhers at the front. Vern Cole, Christian Miller, the 3 riders that were most recently at the lead. Miller active early, been in the field for a while now. There's been a lot of action at the front for sure. This is kind of a little bit of a slowing moment here, as you can see that the field is not quite as anxious to send a rider off the front and catch him, send a rider off the front. We're seeing a little bit more consistent speed now. So we might move into that second phase of the scratch race where it's like you've survived all of those attacks. We've got together. This is our field. It's going to be darn hard to break us apart now. So now it's kind of like a little bit more economical. We're being a little bit more cautious, a little bit more conservative. Not a bad time to make another attack, though, as it'll be Andy Baker once again with some track room in front of him. And the track is meant to go fast on, so here we go. Baker will be back on the pedals again. The distance getting closed down pretty quickly. He's still pushing it, though, at 7 to go. He's got the lineup basically joining him here. He turns around to see, again, Matty Hers. And once again, the Chicken Express found his space at the front. He just kind of goes whenever he's up there. Might as well. As well as looks like it's going to be one of our riders from Fountain Cycling looking around as he's going to be maybe jumping on his back wheel. And up to the front of the track once again, all lining themselves up. The speed's quick and the bell's ringing for $10. $10 to lead the lap. The Express is looking around for someone to join in on the fun as Baker now swings out of the way. Christian Miller in the baby blue takes the front spot. Everyone's swinging up to the blue line. So whenever you got these preems, it's basically a sprint getting set up here. So who's going to take the big move? And there he is. Okay, I just didn't want to give it away too soon. Carlberg said, sure, I'll go get it. All the way for the back of the field. He just absolutely implodes one here. $10 for Carlberg.
What do you mean, May?
4 to go. Definitely coming into the final laps here. So this is where, again, I talked about this a couple races ago where we were at the 4 to go mark. This is kind of the last chance you have to go early. After this, it's kind of just big sprint time. And it'll be Steven Wilson's. He knows it's the last chance, and he has this kind of speed to make a really strong 2K effort or so. So he's going to make a big move. Looks like, I think that's Robson that's joining in as well in the blue, if I'm not mistaken, at 3 to go. 3 riders really moving here. This could be big. Martinez, he's like these moves early in the season too. He's got some legs for these longer distance efforts. The field leaving some room here at 3 to go. I could see some riders like, who's going to go? We got to get these guys. They are rolling. Martinez looks like he is absolutely on a tear on the back straight, keeping things quick, as now Wilson's will take his turn. The rider in that neon green booties there as he comes out of turn 4. You can see he's coming into the front straight with the light blue. Wilson's 2 to go. A lot of neon green socks, actually. 2 of them in the front group. Now Mike Robson again back on the front is number 9. They're just going to be taking their turns. They are well ahead of this field. They've got top 3 in lockdown unless this field organizes has done something real big. They have left a big gap here as we're about to be hearing the final bell. Martinez on the pace. The rider in white at the front. It's going to be Nick Martinez as he gets the bell. He's going to lead this big sprint. Martinez. Wilson's in the blue and green in second spot, and Robson makes out the 3rd rider in this lead group. The sprint for 4th is on from the field. That's going to be Brando number 6 leading this big sprint for 4th. Down the back straight, it's going to be Steven Wilson's being in really good form early in the season. He is looking absolutely ready to race here in 2021. As Wilson's coming out of the turn, we'll just take this thing down the home straight. Steven Wilson's, everybody. Mike Robson with a fantastic finish as well, and it'll be Martinez coming in for 3rd. Here's the sprint out of the field for 4th. Andy Baker trying to hold on in the sprinter's lane. It'll be Baker down in the sprinter's lane, I believe. Almost Super Mario catching him there, but not quite. It was a good one nonetheless. Whoo! How about that, folks? We made it. How about one big round of applause for our Cat 1-2s for their great night of racing, our officials for all the work they're doing, our volunteers, our whole team. Thank you very much for a fantastic Friday night. We are so appreciative to be back here and doing it with all you guys. We're going to be just cleaning the house for the next few minutes as we kind of wrap things up. Our racing program is over. So thank you very much for joining us, whether you're here in person with all of us or, of course, if you're out there on the live stream, thank you for tuning in and watching. We will be back with more racing here again next Friday night. You can catch us here at the Velodrome, whether in person or online. And we look forward to seeing you again here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome.